It was an ordinary summer afternoon at the community pool, the perfect place to relax and enjoy the joys of the season. But that afternoon, everything changed when an unexpected confrontation took place. A middle-aged woman, known for her vigilance, confronted a black teenager, questioning his right to be in this recreational space. At first, the exchanges were subtle, almost imperceptible. The laughter of children and the splashing of water created a light atmosphere, but the tension was slowly rising. Spectators, initially distracted by the summer tumult, began to realize that this was not a simple misunderstanding. What had started as an ordinary swimming afternoon was about to transform into a defining moment for the entire community. Everything turned upside down when, all of a sudden, a luxurious and imposing black car appeared in the parking lot. The crowd, captivated, turned their gaze to this unexpected arrival. As the door opened, a charismatic figure stepped out, and the identity of this individual sent waves of whispers through the crowd. No one expected this intervention to redefine not only that day, but also everyone's perceptions. Stay with us to discover how this unexpected encounter takes a memorable turn that you won't want to miss. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to share it, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our impactful stories. Let me introduce you to Calvin Clayton, a 14-year-old whose quiet confidence and natural charisma drew the attention of those around him. He had recently moved to the neighborhood with his mother, Jasmine Clayton, a prominent figure in the community known for her commitment to equality and justice. For Calvin, this move was a new adventure, an opportunity to savor the carefree pleasures of summer, make friends, and find his place in an environment that promised a fresh start. On that day, armed with his swimming gear, Calvin headed to the community pool with a palpable sense of excitement. He wasn't just there to swim. He was ready to enjoy the simple pleasures of adolescence in this seemingly welcoming neighborhood. Yet, his dream of a peaceful afternoon was about to be disrupted by an event he could never have anticipated. Nearby was Linda Harrington, a woman in her 50s whose reputation preceded her. For some, she was merely a vigilant neighbor, but for others, she was an authority figure ready to judge what she deemed unworthy of community standards. Linda had often taken the initiative to question those she considered undesirable, acting as a sentinel of what she saw as an established order. When she spotted Calvin, a spark of suspicion lit up her gaze. She stood up and approached him with a confidence that left no room for doubt. Her tone was sharp, almost accusatory. "Excuse me, young man, who are you?" Surprised but polite, Calvin replied, "Hello, ma'am, I'm Calvin. I just moved here with my mother a few weeks ago." But Linda's reaction was swift. "I've lived in this neighborhood for 20 years and I've never seen you before. What's your last name?" Calvin, realizing he needed to remain calm, attempted to explain. "We live just down the street. I'm here to swim." But Linda was not convinced. Her gaze hardened as she insisted, "This pool is for residents only. Do you have an ID to prove you live here?" At that moment, the usual buzz of the pool faded slowly, the curious gazes of passersby landing on this unexpected scene. Calvin, feeling increasingly uncomfortable, tried to keep his composure. "I don't have an ID on me, ma'am. I'm just here to enjoy the pool like everyone else." Tension rose as Linda's voice elevated, drawing even more attention. "If you're really a resident, prove it or I'll have to ask you to leave. This pool isn't open to everyone." Whispers among the spectators began to grow, some exchanging worried glances, while others even seemed to approve of Linda's attitude. Calvin looked around, hoping an adult would intervene. But most people were either too uncomfortable to act or hesitant to take a stand. The scene was slowly transforming into a public confrontation, the young man standing alone against the authority imposed by Linda. "Ma'am, I don't want to cause any trouble. I'm here to have a good time," he stated firmly, but he could feel his heart racing. Linda, however, remained unyielding, her determined expression and loud voice resonating across the pool, creating a palpable atmosphere of tension. Minutes passed, and Calvin felt more and more cornered. "My mom and I just moved here," he repeated, but the words seemed to evaporate into the heavy air of misunderstanding. Frustrated by his lack of response, Linda decided to take action. "If you can't prove you belong here, I'm going to call security," she said, pulling out her phone. Whispers among the crowd intensified as she dialed the number. Calvin looked around in desperation, but no one stepped forward to defend him. When the security guards finally arrived, their presence added a new layer of tension. One of them, a tall and imposing man, approached Calvin with a stern look. "We received a report of an intruder," he stated. "Can you tell us why you're here?" Taking a deep breath to compose himself, Calvin said, "I'm Calvin Clayton. I live here." "I just came to swim." But the guard, exchanging a glance with Linda, asked, "Do you have proof of residence?" With a heavy heart, Calvin shook his head. "I didn't bring anything," he admitted. What had started as a simple summer afternoon was turning into a moment that tested not only himself, but the entire community. At that precise moment, it was clear that this confrontation was about much more than access to a pool. It revealed deeply ingrained truths about race, belonging, and community. Stay with us to see how this encounter unfolds and how the dynamics of this community change forever. Share this video and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming stories that resonate with us all.